Welcome. You're here because something in you is ready to feel again. Maybe you're still healing. Maybe you're still hurting. Maybe you just need someone to tell you that you're not crazy for caring so deeply. This series is called Healing Through the Eras, inspired by Taylor Swift's Eras. Each one a different chapter of emotion, growth, heartbreak, and resurrection. We'll go through each era one by one, not just the songs, but the feelings, the versions of you that rose and fell, the girl who was fearless, the one who wore red, the one who tried to stay soft in a reputation world, the one who whispered folklore, the one who made it to the tortured poets department and kept writing anyway. But before we begin, let's drop into our bodies. Let's arrive fully. You can close your eyes if you haven't already. Let yourself settle. Let the weight of the day melt off your shoulders like a coat you don't have to wear anymore. Now gently bring your attention to the crown of your head. Soften your forehead. Release the space between your brows. Unclench your jaw. Let your tongue fall from the roof of your mouth. Relax your neck. Let your shoulders drop. Soften your arms, your elbows, your wrists. Let your hands rest heavy. Now bring awareness to your chest. Feel the rise and the fall. Not trying to fix anything, just noticing. Breathe into your ribs. Let your belly soften. Let go of holding it in. Let go of holding anything in. Release the hips. Soften your thighs. Let your legs get heavy. Let your calves melt. Feel the weight in your heels. And finally, let your feet completely relax. You are fully here, fully softened, and fully safe. You don't have to force healing. You just have to be open to it. So let this series be your companion, your journal in the night, your soft place to land. And if all you do is breathe through it, that's more than enough. You don't have to have all the answers. You just have to start. And you already have. So get cozy, and let's begin. Let's move into the debut era, when I didn't know yet. Before we begin, I want you to think back to the version of you who still believed in love, believed in people, believed that forever could happen on a Tuesday afternoon if someone looked at you the right way. The girl in the bleachers, the hopeful romantic, the version of you that didn't know heartbreak yet. Not really. That's who we're here for tonight. Take a breath in through your nose and let it go like a dandelion wish. This is a safe space for your past self, for your wide-eyed heart, for your soft memories. Close your eyes and imagine her standing under golden light, hair a little messy, hope held in her hands like flowers, believing that if she loved hard enough, it would always be enough. She hadn't yet learned the ache of a one-sided forever. She hadn't yet watched someone walk away after saying they never would. Her laughter still reached the ceiling. Her journals were filled with hearts and maybe his last name. She wasn't stupid. She wasn't naive. She was just unburned. Let yourself return to her for a moment and tell her this. Thank you for loving without fear, for trying without proof, for trusting when no one earned it yet. You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know yet. This part of you, your healing, isn't about shame. It's about reclaiming the version of you that knew how to love before the world told her not to. Breathe into that innocence. The version of you who believed that maybe your soulmate lived 3 blocks away. That if you looked pretty enough that day, he'd finally notice. That one summer could change everything. That love could be found in text messages, slow dances, or the back row of homeroom. You believed in magic. And maybe you were wrong about the person, but you weren't wrong about the feeling. That part was always real. And she, the soft, shiny, fearless girl you used to be, still lives inside of you. She's quieter now. She's been through a lot. But she's still there. And tonight, she's proud of how far you've come. So let yourself rest. Not jaded, not guarded, just gently remembering what it felt like when you didn't know yet, when you still believed, when you loved like a song that had no sad ending. Let your body relax. Let your breath deepen. Let that innocent version of you feel seen. You haven't lost her. You've just grown. And she's still rooting for you. Sleep now, with your heart open, with your memories soft, with that version of you shining like she used to. We will now enter the fearless era. I was brave, and it hurt. Some part of you knew love might break you, but you didn't know it yet. But you did it anyway, because that's what it meant to be fearless. Not unafraid, but brave enough to love with your whole chest anyway. Brave enough to say, I like you, before they did. Brave enough to hold their hand like it meant something. brave enough to believe in forever at 17. You didn't play it cool. You didn't protect yourself first. You chose vulnerability. And when it ended, you didn't just lose a person. You lost the part of you that thought trying hard would always be enough. That's what we're here for tonight. To honor the girl who gave it her all and was left in the hallway, in the car, in the silence, and still, somehow, kept loving. Breathe in. Let your lungs fill with all the things you never said. Exhale. The apologies you gave that weren't yours to carry. You were not too much. You were not too emotional. You were just honest. And you were brave. They told you love was supposed to be effortless, but you knew better. You knew love was choosing someone even when it was hard. You showed up. You cared first. You forgave things that hurt. You tried, really tried. And then one day, they didn't. That pain, the kind that comes from loving without regret, it's carved something into you, but it didn't destroy you. That scar on your heart, it's shaped like courage. So tonight, we sit with her, the girl in the dress who stood in the rain, the one who smiled at his name long after he stopped saying hers, the one who thought love meant fixing someone broken. She was wrong about some things, but never about love, because real love does require effort. Real love does take guts, and you had them, and you still do. So let yourself breathe now. Not with shame, not with regret, but with pride. Because you dared, you showed up, you felt it all. You were fearless. And even if you got hurt, you proved that your heart is the kind people write songs about. Let that girl inside you rest now. The one who kissed like it was the end of the world. The one who believed in love songs and promises. Let her know she wasn't wrong for loving. They were just wrong for not loving her back. You don't have to be guarded to be strong. And you don't have to be reckless to be brave. You can rest in the in-between. Brave, but healing. Soft, but stronger now. Sleep now, with your heart still open and your courage still intact. Because love didn't break you. It just introduced you to yourself. We will now enter the Speak Now era. I should have said it. Sometimes the silence is what haunts you most. Not what happened, not who left, but what you didn't say when you had the chance. That's what this moment is for. The words still living in your chest. The truth still echoing in the back of your throat. The line you almost said. The apology you whispered too late. The "don't go" you held beneath your teeth while your heart shattered. Maybe you didn't speak because you were scared. Maybe you didn't think you were loud. Maybe you thought love meant being quiet. But the version of you who bit her tongue to keep the peace, she deserves to be heard now. Take a deep breath. Inhale what you meant to say. Exhale the weight of all the words that stayed locked behind your ribs. You didn't fail. You weren't weak. You were just trying to survive something complicated and loud while feeling completely alone. It takes strength too. But tonight, you get to speak. You don't need a stage. You don't need them to listen. Just let the silence inside you finally echo with your voice. Say it in your mind. Whisper it if you want. Imagine them in front of you. The person, the moment, the mirror. And say what you never got to. You hurt me. I didn't deserve that. I needed more. I loved you anyway. I'm sorry I let it go that long. Or maybe just, I wish I could have said something, but I didn't know how. That's okay. Because now you do. You know what your voice sounds like. You know that silence is not always strength. And tonight, you're really reclaiming the girl who sat in the back row, holding back tears, trying to be okay with being overlooked. You are forgiving the version of you who froze instead of speaking. You are loving the girl who showed up with everything in her heart and was too scared to speak it loud. You can rest now. You don't have to go back and change the moment. You just have to stop punishing yourself for not knowing what to say back then. You were doing your best with what you had. And now, you're doing better. So sleep softly tonight, with your voice resting beside you like a promise. Next time I'll say it, even if it shakes, even if it's late, I'll speak now. We will now move into the red era. I loved you in color. Some love is soft. Some love is safe. But that love, it was fire. The kind of love that made your chest feel too small. The kind that hurt while it was happening and still felt worth it. That's what this part of your healing is for. The love that didn't fade quietly. The one that stained every season. The one you had to walk away from before you were ready. Or worse, the one that walked away from you while your heart was still reaching for it. Breathe in. Let your lungs remember the heat. And exhale. Let your body soften, even if the memories still feel like they're glowing under your skin. Red was the color of the text you waited for. The fight you shouldn't have started, or the one they never finished. The way your breath caught when they looked at you like you were everything, and then didn't come back. It wasn't logical. It wasn't peaceful. But it was real. You loved them in color. Crimson, burnt orange, bright scarlet. Every word felt like a wildfire. And maybe it ended in smoke and ash, but don't you dare pretend it didn't matter. Don't tell yourself it was a mistake just because it didn't last. Some love doesn't have to be forever to be unforgotten or unforgettable. You were brave enough to feel it all. The ache, the longing, the passion, the red. And even if it ended messy, you came out of it more than you've ever been. You were more you. That version of you, she was chaotic, but she felt everything, and that matters. So tonight, don't dull it down. Let yourself remember what it was like to love with no chill, no plan, no guardrails, and then let it go. Not because it didn't mean something, but because you deserve a love that burns without leaving you in pieces. You deserve a love that doesn't flicker out every time the wind picks up. A love that stays warm without burning you alive. You are still red, just deeper now. Grounded and evolved. But still bold, still beautiful. Still someone who loves in color. Sleep now. Not in ashes, but in light. You survived the storm. You came out of it glowing. We will now move on to the 1989 eras. I turned off my feelings to survive. There's a kind of pain that doesn't cry. It wears red lipstick. It posts selfies. It laughs too loud and moves on too fast and always has plans. It says, I'm good. And sometimes you almost believe it. Because you have to. This is for the version of you who chose numb over shattered. Who danced through the ache. Who put on the glitter and told herself she was over it. You became your own party, your own distraction, your own bright city skyline after they stopped showing up. Breathe in and exhale the performance. It's okay to be too tired now. You don't have to keep pretending, because beneath the sparkles and songs and strength, there was always a girl who was quietly hurting. The one who went out when she should have stayed in. The one who flirted when she just wanted to cry. The one who smiled through the ache just so no one would worry. You didn't heal. You adapted. You survived by shining. And that's not failure. That's resilience. But even the brightest girl in the room needs to turn the lights off sometimes. So tonight, let go of the glitter. Let the music fade. Let yourself be undone. Not forever. Just for this moment. Take off the smile. Take off the I'm fine. And be real. You don't have to perform peace anymore. You can feel your way back to it. Gently, quietly, and honestly. The girl who turned off her feelings didn't disappear. She's still here. And tonight, she's allowed to feel again. Let the tears come if they want to. Let the silence stay if it needs to. There's no need to be interesting. You're allowed to just exist. And know that even in your numbness, you were worthy. Even when you faked the light, you were still full of it. So sleep now. No more pretending. Just you. Real. Honest. And free. We will now move on to The Reputation era, if you're going to call me a villain. There comes a moment when you stop trying to explain, when the stories about you get too loud to correct, when people believe what they want, no matter how soft your truth was. And in that moment, you change. You armor up. You cut your hair. You burn the letters and sharpen the silence. That's the version of you we're here for tonight. The one they called dramatic. The one they said was too much. The one who learned that hard way that being kind doesn't always protect you. Breathe in. Let your body remember how long you kept the peace. And exhale. Let the pressure to be the bigger person finally leave your chest. They made you the villain, so you stopped trying to be the hero. And that wasn't weakness. That was survival. You were tired of being misunderstood. Tired of being blamed for things you didn't do. Tired of loving people who weaponized your softness. So you changed your name. You stopped posting. You stopped reaching out. You became unbothered. And maybe they thought they won. But really, you reclaimed your power. You stopped performing grace for people who never deserved your kindness. That version of you, the one they called cold, she was just finally safe. Because no one could reach her anymore. And yeah, it was lonely, but it was yours. Your silence, your boundaries, your ability to walk away without explaining. So tonight, rest in that power. Not rage, not revenge, just power. The kind that says, I know who I am, and I don't owe you my softness anymore. The kind that doesn't clap back. The kind that doesn't clear its name, just exists, loud in its stillness. You are not a villain. You are a woman who finally got tired of being misunderstood and chose herself instead. Breathe now. Let the mask fall. No one's watching here. You can cry if you need to. You can soften again if you want to. But only when it's safe. You don't owe your healing to the people who caused the wound. You don't owe your silence to anyone either. Just rest now. In your own name. In your own truth. In your own version of peace. Reputation was never about revenge. It was about protection. And tonight, you are safe enough to sleep in that power. We will now move on to the lover era. Softness is still strength. You've been through enough to justify shutting down. You felt the kind of heartbreak that makes people cold. You've been ghosted, lied to, taken for granted, and watched the people you gave your whole heart to treat it like it was disposable. You had every reason to give up on love, but you didn't. And that's what makes you magical. You still believe. Not in perfection, not in fairy tales, but in something real, something soft, something that doesn't require you to lose yourself just to be held. Breathe into that softness. Inhale. Let hope bloom in your chest again. Exhale. Let the fear that love always ends melt for a moment. You didn't stay bitter. You didn't stay guarded. You gave yourself permission to try again. That doesn't make you naive. That makes you resilient. You are someone who still sends the good morning text, who still gets excited when someone calls you back, who still plans birthdays and believes a kiss means everything. You are not too much. You are the sun after the storm. And just because the last person couldn't handle your light doesn't mean it was too bright. They were just too dim. Tonight, I want you to remember this. Your softness is sacred. And one day, someone will recognize it for the strength it is. Until then, keep loving like it's safe to do so. Keep laughing like your heart didn't break into 1,000 pieces once. Keep dreaming in pastel. You are the proof that the pain doesn't have to make you bitter, that survival doesn't require sharp edges, that healing can look like glitter and kindness. Sleep now in your softness. It is not your weakness. It is your crown. And love, the real kind, will never ask you to take it off. We will now move on to the folklore era. Stories I never told out loud. Not every heartbreak came from a breakup. Some came from silence. From the things that almost happened. From the people who never gave you a clear ending. From the versions of love that only existed in your imagination, but still left an ache when they disappeared. This is for those stories, the one you never told out loud. Because they weren't real. Because they ended before they began. Because no one else would have understood. But you understood. You knew what it meant when they looked at you that way. You knew what that night felt like, even if they forgot it. You remember every conversation, every half-finished sentence, every moment where it felt like something was about to start and then never did. Breathe in. Let your chest open gently around those memories. Breathe out. Let yourself grieve what no one else ever saw as a loss. You are not crazy for remembering. You are not dramatic for filling. You're just a storyteller. And some stories live only in your mind, but that doesn't make them less true. You built whole worlds out of single glance. You fell in love with possibilities. And sometimes, that's the kind of love that stays the longest. So tonight, whisper the story if you want to. Say their name in the dark. Let the fantasy rise and fade again like smoke, with no judgment and no shame. Just your own private folklore, being held instead of buried. You don't need to validate what you felt. You lived it. You felt the shift when they stopped texting. You replayed the last thing they ever said. You know what it meant, even if they deny it now. That story belonged to you, even if they never wrote it back. So sleep now, with your memories softened. The pages are worn. The ending is quiet. But it mattered. You mattered. And somewhere inside you, the narrator is finally at peace. We will now move on to the Evermore era. Living through what I thought would break me. Some pain comes loud. Some pain comes like a scream, but this came like a winter. Slow, still, days blending into each other. A quiet ache that never exploded but just lingered. This is for the heartbreak that didn't take you down all at once. It just stayed, sat beside you, slept next to you, watched you go to work, fake a smile, eat dinner in silence. It never screamed, it whispered. They're not coming back. This might always hurt. You'll never feel the same again. But you kept going. And that's the miracle. Not that you healed right away, but that you kept existing. You got up, you washed your face, you made it to the next day, and the next, and the next. And when it didn't feel worth it, even when the silence felt heavier than the pain ever did, breathe now. Not to feel better, but just to feel real. You survived the season you thought would break you. That matters. Maybe you didn't bloom again right away. Maybe you still haven't. But something in you held on. Something in you believed that one day it wouldn't feel like this. And that something, that tiny flicker of hope, is why you're here. You're not frozen anymore. You are thawing. Slowly, quietly, and gently. Evermore wasn't about the end. It was about what comes after the end. When the world doesn't magically fix itself, but you still chose to stay. Sleep now in your own softness. You've earned this peace. Not because it was handed to you, but because you kept showing up for yourself when no one else did. You didn't break. You just bent into something stronger. And one morning soon, the light will hit you different. And you'll realize you made it. We will now move on to the Midnight's era. I can't keep pretending I don't miss them. It's late. That kind of late that makes everything feel heavier. The house is quiet. The world is asleep. But your thoughts, they're still wide awake. You've said it out loud. I'm over them. I don't even think about them anymore. It's better this way. And most of the time you believe it. But not right now. Not at midnight. Not when the silence gets too loud and every memory comes back in high definition. Breathe. Don't panic. Missing them doesn't mean you've gone backwards. It just means you're human. You gave your heart to someone who didn't know what to do with it. You made space for them in your life, in your future, in your nervous system. And then one day, they were gone. Of course your body remembers. Of course your brain wants to run every highlight reel. Of course it still hurts sometimes. This isn't failure. This is grief. Breathe in. Let yourself be honest. Yeah, you miss them. Yes, some part of you still hopes they text. Yes, you still wonder if they'll ever think about you when they can't sleep either. But here's the truth. Even if they don't, you're still healing. And if they've moved on, you're still moving forward. You're allowed to miss someone who hurt you. You're allowed to wish they'd chosen differently. You're allowed to not be over it yet. And still, be getting better every day. Midnights don't erase your progress. They just reveal the pieces you're still learning to live without. So breathe. Talk to your heart like she's still listening. Tell her it's okay to miss them. Tell her you're not mad. Tell her you understand. She loved hard. And now she's trying to love herself just as much. You don't have to be over it tonight. You just have to rest. You'll feel stronger in the morning. You always do. Because no matter how many midnights come, you are still rising. And one day, it won't hurt like this anymore. We will now move on to the Tortured Poets department. I'm still here, and that's the poem. You were the girl who felt everything. The one who loved too deeply. Who forgave too fast. Who wrote whole novels in your head about people who never stayed long enough to read them. You gave pieces of yourself like pressed flowers. Beautiful, fragile, and forgotten. But that didn't stop you. Even when they left. Even when you had to crawl through your own heartbreak just to get out of bed. Even when you told no one how bad it got. You still wrote. Maybe not on paper. Maybe not with a pen. But with every breath you took after they broke you. That was a stanza. Every tear you wiped alone, that was a metaphor. Every time you started over when it hurt too much just to try again, that was the chorus. You were the poem. And the fact that you're still here, still hoping, still loving, still feeling everything too much, that is your legacy. Breathe now. Not like someone who's healing, but like someone who's become the healing. The world called you too sensitive. But your sensitivity is your superpower. You notice everything. You feel everything. You write verses into silence with nothing but your heartbeat. And even if they never understood what they lost, you know what you gave. You know what it cost. And you kept going anyway. You are the tortured poet who made it through the fire and built a sanctuary from the ashes. So sleep now, but like someone who's escaping, but like someone who's finally arrived. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to keep writing. Because the greatest love story you'll ever live is the one where you choose you. And that is the poem. It's okay to sleep now. You've done enough. You've felt enough. You've remembered, released, forgiven, grieved, spiraled, hoped, healed, and survived it all. Now there's nothing left to figure out. There's no need to think one more thought. No person to impress. No wound to explain. No feeling to decode. Just this breath, this moment, this peace. Let your body melt into the mattress. Let the pillows cradle your head like the hands of something ancient and kind. You're not in fight mode anymore. There's nothing to brace for. The world is quiet now, and so are you. Inhale. Let your shoulders drop. Exhale. Let your mind go soft. You are allowed to stop holding it all together. You are allowed to stop replaying that moment. You are allowed to be nothing but tired and to rest. No one needs anything from you right now. The past cannot reach you here. The future isn't asking questions. It's just you and your breath and the quiet rhythm of your heart still beating. Not because it wasn't broken, but because it kept going anyway. The light you lost, some of it has already come back. The love you gave away, you've learned how to keep it for yourself too. And the version of you that cried in the dark, she's proud of you. She's here. She's safe now. Breathe into her peace. Let it wrap around you like a soft blanket. There's no more story to write tonight. Just a final page that says, you made it. Let your eyelids get heavy. Let your thoughts turn to static. Let the soft carry you. You're done for now. And it's okay to go to sleep.